Today we're going to look at the steps to remove the master cylinder from a Ferrari 308. Hello and welcome to the garage. Today we're going to look at removing the master cylinder on the braking system of a Ferrari 308. As you can see, we have the car sitting on the hoist, not necessary to be on the hoist, but we just pick it up just a little bit to make it a bit more comfortable. And then we're going to look at removing the master cylinder. Now the master cylinder hood is open, is just underneath here. Now this is an early car, the kind that has the vinyl covering. Even if you have the later cars with the plastic and the exposed spare tire, it's approximately the same procedure. One of the first things you're going to do is that there's a trim here that you just pull up. Just pull that up all the way around the opening. And then in this particular case, there's a covering here, has a number of screws that hold it in place. And those screws need to be removed. Once the screws are removed, this is glued on the front face here, and you will lift this up and pull it out of the way. So I'll do that first, and we'll come right back and see the procedure. With the covering up and out of the way, as you can see right here, we're going to turn our attention to the master cylinder. The master cylinder is right down there, and the bottle makes up part of it. Now, the bottle, of course, is full of brake fluid. Brake fluid is extremely bad on paint, so you want to make sure that you don't get any drops of brake fluid on anything that has paint, because it will strip the paint away. You can even see down here there's evidence of a little bit of brake fluid leakage over the years. It has led to the paint being peeled up a little bit. So the first step is you removing both of the covers and also the wires that connect here to the covers. In here is nothing more than just a little electrical float contact that turns on the light on your dash to let you know if your brake fluid level is low. But take all the covers off, and what we're going to do is, just moving over the cart over here, we have paper towels. You can never have too many paper towels when you're doing this job. And you want to make sure that you have a trash can handy and you don't contaminate towels. You want to make sure that anything that gets brake fluid on it gets thrown away immediately. So we're going to build like a little pad underneath there to catch any brake fluid that falls. And to empty it out, we just have this large syringe over here. And we're just going to suck as much fluid as we can out, because you don't want to run into a situation where the removal of this bottle, which actually needs to come off, leads to too much fluid being lost. You're always going to lose a little bit, but you don't want to lose too much. So we'll do that, and we'll come back and we'll look at the procedure for removing the bottle. All right, with the covers removed, it's time to remove the bottle itself. So just have a look. The covers have been removed. We've drained out as much fluid as we can, got most of it, not all of it out. And just coming over to the cart here, these are the bits and pieces we removed. This is the cover that goes in the middle. It'll have a little strainer. It has to be pulled out, and these are the float assemblies I told you about that make the contacts that will turn the light on and off on the dash when you run low on brake fluid. All very, very straightforward stuff, nothing complicated over here. The bottle itself is held to the master cylinder. You look down here. There are some rubber, one there and one over there, rubber grommets. And what you want to do is you want to pry carefully, because this is a very, very old piece of plastic and they're unobtainium as well. But you want to pry carefully, and the bottle will remove. And the reason that we're removing the bottle is because it'll give access to the 4 bolts that hold the master cylinder in place. So the next step is we'll be removing the bottle, and we'll come back as soon as that's done. Well, that was fairly easy. We were able to pull off the bottle, and as you can see, these are the rubber grommets the bottle fits into. And if we go back and we have a look, there's the bottle itself, and the base, it has slightly flared plastic nipples that go into those rubber plugs. So the master cylinder, here it is. The master cylinder itself is held to the booster with 4 nuts. You remove 1, 2, the other one's hiding right back there. It's a square pattern. And then there are the 2 hoses that operate the front and the rear braking systems on the car. Now these fittings right here are either an 11mm or 7/16 inch wrench, And ideally you want to use, I guess what's called a flare type wrench. So we go over here and I've laid out the two types of wrenches. That's a standard 7/16 inch wrench. And that's also 7/16, but you can see how it kind of doubles back on itself, has just a little bit more surface area and seems to work a little bit better on these types of connections. So we just slide that on and then from there just loosen them and the hoses will come off. So the next step is to pull this off. Also, you'll notice that we did cover the fender here and don't want to damage anything. And what I like to use more than anything else is I like using yoga mats. They're thin, they're inexpensive, and they have a really nice natural grip to the body of the car. So no need to spend a lot of money. Just a yoga mat is all that's required. So let's pull the entire master cylinder off and have a look at it. Here we are with the master cylinder out of the car. As you can see, the 4 studs on the brake booster and the 2 hoses are really the only connections that hold the master cylinder in place. Put a fresh piece of paper towel there, and let's go over to the cart, and there is your master cylinder. So in the next video, we're going to look at the procedure for installing a master cylinder on these cars, particularly looking at, there's a very important measurement that needs to be done on the plunger shaft here, and we'll tell a little story of what happens when you don't get that right. So again, thank you very much for joining me. Please like, subscribe, and we'll see you again in the garage soon. Thank you very much.